Hello, dreamers, regressors, and babies of all kinds.
Today we're going to be doing a Q&A. You asked us all kinds of questions on Instagram and the YouTube community tab, and we're here to answer all the things you might be curious about.
Okay, first question. How did you figure out that you were an age dreamer? So that's for me. I figured out I was an age dreamer when I was about 15 years old. I'm 21 now, so about 6 years ago. And I found out through Instagram, through just comparing all of the communities. I was confused at first, but then I eventually figured it out by reading all of the little Tumblr text posts and watching videos here and there and just trying to see what fit me and what community I could find similarities in. I could do a whole video on just that topic alone, but next question. How did you introduce age dreaming to your CG?
When we first started talking, she told me about the fact that she was an age dreamer. I didn't really quite know what it meant. And even after she explained it, I still didn't fully understand it. And I'm trying to remember the first times that she age dreamed around me and asked me to be
I remember.
her CG.
I remember the first time.
Remember the very first time?
Yeah.
I only remember not the very first time, but like.
I remember the first time I age dreamed around you, but that's not how I introduced you being my CG. Right? Like I was sending you all of those text posts and stuff, like
I remember
saying
that, yes.
that I wanted you to be my CG.
Yeah, no, you sent me all those text posts, kind of with different explanations, like what it meant to be a CG, and it seemed like something I wanted to do. So one of the times, we weren't living together at the time, I went over to her house, and she age dreamed. I don't really know how this started.
We had a fashion show, remember?
We had a fashion show. That was the first time?
I think so. Yeah. Next. How did you ask your papa to do the little things he does, like serve you breakfast and stuff? I just say, can you make me food? I'm hungry. Can you do this for me? I'm too little. I can't do it. Can you do it? That's it.
Pretty much. And a lot of the things, I just kind of know what she needs or wants. Also, she's very bad at using her words, so she'll just make little crying sounds, and eventually I figure it out.
Yeah. How did the CG/age dreamer relationship begin, and how has it progressed? So it started with the fashion show, and since then we've kind of grown closer to each other through age dreaming, I think.
It's a nice way to kind of cool off after anxiety or something happening between us or our family or something. It's just I like being a CG. Taking care of her makes me feel good, and being little is such a great way for her to cope, as well as just be calm and meditate and whatnot, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. How did you meet? We met on Tinder.
Yeah. And that's it, really. Yeah.
Yeah, we met on Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
I sent him a message and he responded.
Yeah.
We can do like a how did you meet Storytime, but that's as far as we're gonna go here. How do you separate your boyfriend-girlfriend relationship and age dreaming relationship?
There's kind of clear boundaries.
Clear lines. You just have to have boundaries in place.
Yeah. Like there's certain things that I won't do that I would do with her when she's small. When you're small.
So basically, we just have, firm boundaries in place. Like, there's certain things that he wouldn't do while I'm small, and there's certain things he wouldn't do while I'm big. So, and vice versa. I wouldn't do certain things while I'm small. I wouldn't do certain things while I'm big. So, that's how we separated it. And he knows when I'm small, and if he doesn't know, I might just say I'm small. So, what's your favorite thing to do while age streaming? Um, my favorite thing to do.
Watch cartoons.
That's not my favorite thing to do.
We do it a lot.
We do it a lot, but it's not my favorite. Go to the aquarium.
So specific, but we've had a lot of fun doing that.
I like going to the aquarium while I'm small. It's fun.
We have to go to the zoo too.
Yeah. Any tips for someone looking for a CG?
Honestly, I don't really know because I kind of just fell upon you, and then I was introduced to this world, and it was like, okay, I'll do it.
True.
But I think what you need to really look for is if the person seems at all uninterested in being your CG, whether if you want them to be your boyfriend too, or a girlfriend, or a partner, or whoever, then just it's not going to work out with that person. I don't think. Like, sure, maybe you can eventually convince them that they can do this thing for you, but it's probably easier to find someone who's just ready and willing.
Yeah. I think the easiest way to find a CG is to find someone who loves you and is interested in you and would do anything to make you happy. So I don't think you should specifically search for caregivers. Like someone who's already a caregiver. Just find someone you love.
And I'm not sure how this works for some people, but if they're your friend or someone else that's close to you and it works that way for you, then by all means that's valid.
No. Your CG doesn't have to be a partner, but if you want them to be your partner, as well, that's how you would do it.
But love is important, whether it be platonic or otherwise.
Yeah,
I think.
Which is your favorite passy? These are my two favorite passies. This one is my favorite, deco one, I guess. It's super cute. It's bears. I love bears. And then my favorite non-deco one is a bear too. This one is really comfortable. I think that's why it's my favorite too. This one's cute. This one's comfortable.
Do you use diapers or pull-ups?
I use diapers sometimes. I don't necessarily use them really, but I would like to try pull-ups because I think when I'm small I'm more around toddler age, so I think pull-ups are more fitting.
Who's your favorite Disney princess?
Anna and Cinderella are my favorite Disney princesses. Probably leaning more towards Anna, so I'll say Anna.
And what is your little age range?
My little age range is probably between 2 and 7.
I would say so, yeah.
2 and 7, between 2 and 7.
That's what it feels like when I'm taking care of you. How long have you been an age streamer?
So I've been an age streamer for about 4 years. I knew about all of the communities, but I didn't conclude that I am an age streamer and I'm not anything else until about 4 years ago. So 4 years.
And what is your favorite show as an age streamer? It's a hard one.
Bluey.
Bluey's great. We also like Fancy Nancy and Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
And
I've been watching Peppa Pig a lot in French, so probably Peppa Pig. I watch that a lot.
I'm supposed to be teaching her French.
Yeah. We can do, he can teach you guys French too. We can do French class.
French class.
Yeah.
A great idea. All right. And the last one, how to know if you're an age dreamer versus age regressor. I think you have a good answer for this one.
So I have a video on how do you know if you're an age dreamer. So I think you should watch that video to find out. But I like to quote this thing I found on Tumblr, which you can also see in the video I made about age streaming. And you can tell the difference between age regression and age streaming because essentially, age regression is when one behaves and thinks like a child, while age streaming is when one behaves like a child and thinks like an adult. So it's like playing pretend if you're an age streamer, and it's the real deal if you're an age regressor. It's gonna pick up.
Angelina at the palace. Angelina could hardly believe her furry ears when Miss Lily invited her on a special visit to the royal palace of Mouseland. I'm helping the princesses prepare a dance for Queen Seraphina and King Ferdinand's wedding anniversary, Miss Lily explained. Will you be my helper? Oh, yes, please, cried Angelina, and she was so excited she did 3 perfect pirouettes. Can I come too? Begged Cousin Henry. Angelina shook her head, but Henry promised to be good, so Miss Lily said he could come. The following week they drove to the palace. On the way, Angelina and Miss Lily thought up some brilliant ideas for the princess's performance. Look, squeaked Henry as the royal flags came into view. Angelina and Henry marveled at all the tall towers and admired the handsome guards in their gleaming armor. That evening, Queen Seraphina invited her guests to a grand dinner. Angelina couldn't believe how beautiful the 3 princesses were, with their sparkling jewels, flowing gowns, and perfect table manners. Angelina tried hard to be perfect, just like them. But the more she worried, the clumsier she became. And finally, she spilled soup all over her dress, her best dress. Afterward, Angelina was so upset, she sat on her big bed and hugged Mousie. I wish I was as graceful as the princesses, she sobbed. In the morning, I'll tell Miss Lily that I want to go home. I'm not good enough to be her helper. Angelina snuggled under the covers. Thank goodness you're here, Mousie, she sighed, drifting off to sleep. But the next morning, when Miss Angelina went to knock on Miss Lily's door, there was no answer. Miss Lily, cried Angelina, peeping round the door. Are you all right? I've caught a terrible cold, said Miss Lily with a sneeze. Could you teach the princesses for me? Angelina was horrified, but she knew she couldn't let Miss Lily down. I'll do my best, Angelina promised, but please get better soon. Then she ran to find Henry and explained what had happened. You're my helper now. You're my helper now, she told him, and they raced off together to the grand ballroom. Shouts and shrieks were coming from the ballroom, and Angelina was astonished to see the princesses fighting. I want to be the magic fairy, shouted Princess Valentina, pinching Sophie's ears. No, I want to be the magic fairy, screamed Princess Sophie, pulling Valentina's whiskers. That's not fair. What about me? Howled little Princess Phoebe, yanking her sister's tails. Angelina suddenly realized that the princesses weren't so perfect after all. Angelina clapped her paws for attention, just like Miss Lily. I know a ballet with lots of magic fairies, she said. The princesses were so impressed that they stopped fighting to listen. Does it have a dragon? Asked Sophie. And a fairy island? Asked Phoebe. And a brave knight, squeaked Henry. Definitely, said Angelina, starting to feel less wobbly. I'll show you. After that, the princesses rehearsed with Angelina and Henry every day, while the royal seamstresses sewed sparkling fairy costumes, and the royal carpenters built a magical stage set and a very fierce dragon. Angelina was the queen of the fairies. She showed the princesses how to dance together and leap away from the dragon and fly to safety on Fairy Island. The princesses loved dancing like fairies, and Henry was so proud to be the brave knight that he wanted his costume to be perfect. Finally, it was time for the big performance. The king and queen and all our guests gathered in the grand ballroom to watch the show. Luckily, Miss Lily was well enough to come, even though she still had the sniffles. Backstage, the princesses had butterflies in their tummies. What if we forget our steps? Worried Sophie. Don't worry, Angelina said kindly. I know you'll be brilliant. Now, on with the show. A trumpet blew, and Angelina twirled on stage, leading her band of fairies. The princesses remembered everything they'd learned, and they performed. They performed the Fairy Island Ballet just like real ballerinas. They leaped and pirouetted beautifully together, and not one of them tripped up or forgot her part. When the dragon roared, the little fairies flew quickly across the stage and waited for their brave knight to appear. Oh dear, thought Angelina. Where is Henry? Just then she heard a loud clanking sound and a muffled squeak, and Henry marched on stage in a real suit of armor, waving a real sword. Oh no, look. At the end of the show, Angelina invited Miss Lily to come on stage. The audience stood and clapped as the performers took a final bow. Hip hip hooray! 3 cheers for Angelina! Cried the princesses. The end. We did it. Time for bed. Time for sleep.